Hi, so we're here with Meredith Conitz from Art, Play, Learn. Meredith, thanks so much for joining us today. So glad you could be available to talk to us about your program. So why don't you jump right in, tell us a little bit about yourself and what Art, Play, Learn has to offer the homeschool community.
Sure, great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. This is an awesome, innovative solution to our situation at the moment. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's, I guess, start with Art, Play, Learn, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So the Art, Play, Learn is unique in three basic ways.
Okay.
The first way is that we're completely secular at all times. We offer a neutral environment for anybody of any faith background or no faith background at all. So everybody can be comfortable and learn and play together without having to worry about being indoctrinated into somebody else's belief pattern. And so that's pretty much all that's about.
Yeah.
And then, so the second thing is that we create our own curriculum. So we're not using any particular strategy. We use any strategy that is necessary for the people in the room. For some people that makes it hard to figure out, well, like, will this work with my curriculum that I'm using? But the reality is it works with every curriculum, because what we're doing is we're coming up with a custom curriculum for every group of people that we have in each class. So we'll have a class description, but the way that class gets carried out changes depending upon who's in the room. And so that's how we're able to, one, differentiate for different kinds of learners. It's also how we're able to make it very student-centered. So if we realize, ooh, everybody in the room is turned on by this one particular path, then we'll take that particular path. And so that's how we manage to keep everybody engaged and motivated and having a good time. And when we find that, oh, there's a hole here, you know, that this particular student needs, we can fill in that hole because we're not stuck in this particular schedule that the curriculum says we need to do.
Got it.
So if we need to go back and pick something up, we go back and we pick something up, and then, you know, we go forward. If there's someone who's way far ahead, we can figure out a way to give them something a little bit more challenging while everybody else is working on the level that they're working.
Right. Good.
So, yeah, so in a way, I know it's hard for some people to understand what it is exactly that we do, but it's because it changes according to who's in the room. That makes sense.
So I've seen it, so I know. I'm very excited about it. So you're completely secular, you're custom curriculum, and then you said you had a third thing.
I did say I had a third thing. What was the third thing? I'll have to come back to that because now I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Great.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. We're integrated.
Yes.
So we use all kinds of integrations. So none of our classes are straight whatever that is, right? If we have a writing class, we're not just sitting down and writing the entire time. We have, depending upon who's in the room, of course, we may take a performing arts slant to it. So we'll tell our stories through physical acting, or sometimes through improvisation, or sometimes through actually like breaking down into groups and teaching each other scripts and like putting it together. It depends on what the situation is. If we've got a bunch of kids who are like, oh, don't make me get up and talk in front of people or move in front of people, but they love to paint and draw, then we'll move in that direction, and we'll have them do storyboards, and we'll have them actually like create picture books and things like that. So literally, we can integrate any two combinations of things. So I have literally taught math and English mechanics through sports, for example. So we do integrations that other people don't even
think about.
Right.
Which is awesome, because in Maryland, in particular, we have the content areas that we have to have regular and thorough instruction. And so we could go ahead and say, in this writing class, she's singing and dancing or something to that effect. Yes, excellent. That's excellent. So tell us, give me some, well, you were going to tell us about yourself. And then after you tell us about yourself, talk to me about classes, topics, subjects. When people register at Art Play Learn, what are they registering for?
Okay, sure, excellent. So about me, I have approximately 27 years of instructional experience, officially like getting paid to do it. I was instructing before that because I was a tutor, and I like in high school I started the foreign language club, and I was just always, my mom was a teacher. Okay. So, and she tutored in our house. So I got to see her teach. I got to help her prepare her lessons and things like that. So for me, it was just kind of natural. Oh, you're having problems with this and I understand it. Well, let me help you with it.
Right.
So I was teaching long before I was a teacher, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes.
So, and I've taught, my main like uber specialties are language acquisition. I personally speak 5 languages on varying degrees of fluency. And performing arts, because I'm also a professional performing artist. Okay. And I've done, with the exception of sound design, I have done every job in the performing arts on a professional level at least once. Awesome. So I have a wide variety of skills. Okay, great. And awesome. I was also a varsity soccer player and volleyball player. So, I'm athletic and I dance and all that. So that's why I can bring all of these things in, because I just something different, that I've done. Right. Yeah. And so over the years, I've also had the opportunity to teach in a lot of different environments. So I wasn't just a classroom teacher, although I have taught in a classroom. I've taught kids that I see every day. I've taught kids I only see once a week. I've taught kids that I only see once ever. And they're all different situations. Right. Yeah. And so I've taught kids who go to building school. I've taught kids who are homeschooled. And, like kids who are newly homeschooled versus kids who have always been homeschooled, and everything in between. Yeah. So, which is nice, because that gives me the versatility of experiencing lots of different scenarios. And so I can adjust and pivot in the moment, maybe a little bit better than some people can. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's great. So when people come to Art Play Learn, or when they find your website, or when they know it's an awesome place, so we've already gotten that part. This is definitely something we want our kids to be a part of. What is it that you all have to offer?
So we have a couple of different kinds of offerings. Okay. First, like very homeschool centric offering is our tutorial. And the tutorial at the moment is 1 day a week. Most age groups. So right now we have pre-K kindergarten, we have first and second, kind of generally speaking. We don't really put people in grades. We do it more by minimum skills. Right. Because especially, well, I mean, with any student, regardless of how they're getting educated, grade is kind of random. Right. So, I mean, that just really really have anything to do with what your skills are. And so we also, our suggested age range really is just a suggestion, right? If you have a child who's slightly outside of that, but they're really far ahead, bring them in and we'll include them. If there's someone who needs a little catch up on a particular subject, bring them in and we'll catch them up. As long as everybody's working on approximately the same skills, that's the most important thing. Okay. So when I say like we have these grades, it's not really like in this grade, but we do have a pre-K kindergarten class that works on, it's called Emerging Academics. And so it works on like pre-reading, bringing kids into being readers and writers, and working on early numeracy into addition and subtraction. Right. Then we have the beyond basics, which takes kids kind of from that level where they're able to decode 3-letter words fairly fluently on up to being able to do more extensive, more complicated phonics, more complicated sentences. We start to introduce things like parts of speech, so that they have the vocabulary in the next level to talk about how we make more sophisticated things. Right. The same thing with math. We take the addition and subtraction, and we start to introduce the concept of multiplication and division and how it's all intertwined in the relationships between numbers and functions. And then, yeah, so on those levels, those are kind of like the benchmark levels for like the first, second grade, which is beyond basic. And then we have a level that hasn't actually run yet because we always get 2 people and we need at least 3 to run it. And that's the sophisticated studies. So it's more of the same, just on one level up, where we're doing we're doing more multiplication and division than addition and subtraction. We're doing longer sentences. We're doing more complicated story development, that sort of thing. And then we have the preteens talk class, which I may rename because I'm finding that people are giving me feedback that they're confused about what it is. So that name may change. I don't know yet. But that's basically, it's a project-based class where all the kids come in and we create one overarching project, but each student gets to choose one area that they'd like to become experts in. And so they get to choose that particular project and follow that and become an expert in that subject. And then they bring their expertise and we put it all together to create some sort of video project. So sometimes we take it all together, we put it all together and we write a script, and it includes information from all the different areas, and we actually have people, we produce a video of a fictional script. Sometimes we do it more like a TV talk show where I kind of like what we're doing now. I sit here and I ask you questions and then you talk about your area of expertise and everybody gets to learn about all of the different things. Sometimes we do segments like a news show. It really depends on what the people in the room want to do, what they're comfortable with doing. Do they want to be on camera? Would they rather be off camera? Do they want to use their voice on, behind slides? What are they comfortable with? What do they want to do?
Sounds great. So that's the preteen talk class?
That's the preteens talk class.
Okay.
And that's also once a week. That is a little bit different from, so the regular tutorial classes are 3-hour drop-off classes and multiple subjects within that 3 hours.
Right.
And so like for emerging academics, it's just really fluid, right? It's a little bit like, it's like kindergarten or pre-K, right? Where we do a lot of free play and we have circle time and we have art and sometimes we do a science project and, all different kinds of things. And there's not a specific time of day when each thing happens. So it's hard to drop in is what I'm saying. Yeah. So, and then the same thing for Beyond Basics and for Sophisticated Studies. We were originally making them 3 separate classes so someone could drop into just science or just social studies or just math.
It doesn't work.
But it just got to be really, really difficult, especially with science. Sometimes you need science or art. Sometimes you need to start something and then leave it for an hour and come back to it.
Yeah.
Right? So it just makes it really hard to do that. So that's why they're 3 subjects at a time in a block. And it's a 3-hour drop-off, and they get 3 subjects in some order, but they're guaranteed to get 3 subjects each time.
Okay, great. And then so is the Teens Talk, is that where your tutorial ends, and then the other classes are something separate, or do you have high school tutorial?
So at the moment, I don't have a high school tutorial, only because I haven't had a lot of interest. So if somebody's interested in a high school tutorial, reach out, let me know what holes you're trying to fill. And, that's my main thing is I'm looking to fulfill the needs of people rather than trying to just put something out there and hope people want it.
Yeah. That is really helpful. And a lot of times parents don't understand that, or they don't know, maybe they don't have the opportunity to realize that there are people who will build it if you want it, right? There are people out here. And so Art Play Learn is a place where something you may be interested in could be built, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So talk to me about the other classes that you offer. I am most familiar with Japanese. So what else is going on at Art Play Learn?
Yeah, so that's like kind of the second way of learning at Art Play Learn that we have, they're semester-long classes, but they're one subject.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, like, you're very familiar with the Japanese class. That's a class that I have been teaching for forever and a day. So in various subjects, in various environments. So that's basically, we put together, that's actually a good example, right? You reached out to me and said, hey, you teach Japanese, my boys want a Japanese class. And a bunch of other parents had said, we want a Japanese class. And I said, okay, well, like, what kind of class do you want? Is it just for fun? Is it for credit? Is it like, how serious are they? And we got all the voices together and put together something that worked for everybody. And it's been super successful, I think.
It is. It works very well. And my boys look forward to it every week. So I am so glad. I'm so glad we found each other.
Yeah.
And so glad Art Play Learn is there. And you're so close to my house. That's also awesome. Tell us, so what area are you in?
So our physical learning center is over behind the McDonald's on the corner of 197 and 450 in central Bowie.
Right.
So it's a nice, centrally located, convenient place. And it's a nice big room, so we can rearrange the furniture for lots of different kinds of situations.
Yeah. So other than Japanese,
we have Spanish for various. We have Spanish actually for infants and toddlers is our youngest.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then we have a Spanish. So I teach Spanish in the emerging academics class. It's one of our subjects that gets embedded. And then we also have like an elementary range, a preteen range, and a teen range. So we have Spanish for all ages.
Great.
And I have 2 teachers who are native speakers who take the classes that I'm not teaching.
Awesome.
Because there are only so many hours in the day. And
right.
Right. And I'm always open to, if somebody wants to teach something and offer something, contact me, because, one of the reasons why I started the Learning Center in particular was so that I could include people who have areas of expertise outside of mine. So that we could have different perspectives and we could collaborate in different voices. And so I'm looking for a high level of diversity in my teaching staff, in areas of expertise, in personal demographics, all of that. Yes. So yeah, so don't hesitate to reach out if you're interested.
So on that note, we're running out of time, which is a bummer, but on that note, tell us how to reach out. And then just so you know, when the videos are posted, all of your contact information will be like, just, they say just below the video. So it'll be there for people to just click on and kind of find. But tell us anyway, for those who are more auditory learners, where we find you, how to reach out to you. And so I met you on Facebook. So you're all over the Facebook pages, Maryland Homeschoolers. And where else can we find you on Facebook?
On Facebook, a lot of different places. I'm probably in about 12 different, maybe more than that, homeschool groups, including secular and eclectic homeschoolers, unschooling groups, because my strategy is actually very unschooling friendly.
Yes.
And homeschoolers of Maryland, Maryland homeschoolers, Bowie, Crofton, Bowie, pretty much everywhere. Anne Arundel, Greenbelt.
And so then what's Art Play Learn's website?
www.artplaylearn.com.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Meredith. This was fun. I'm so glad we got to do it. I'm glad you made yourself available. And when we are ready to post, we'll let you know, okay? All right, that's Meredith Conitz from Art Play Learn. Thanks so much, Meredith.
Thank you.